Welcome back to the Basement Boys podcast and this week's free episode. If you're interested in bonus episodes, behind the scenes, bloopers, and more, check out patreon.com/basementboyspodcast, where most of that content is available for just $2 a month. Regardless, we appreciate all your support and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Hello everyone. This is a new episode, a different episode, and I'm really excited for it. So if you're watching the video and not listening to the audio, I am playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe right now. I don't have a face cam on screen, you don't see me at all. It's just my gameplay on screen. And this is something we've done a lot on the Patreon. I think we've done at least 4 Patreon episodes that were gameplay based. And while we have fun with those, the reason we had never done them before for the free episodes, for the main podcast series, is because they don't really feel like a podcast as much in, I guess, the stereotypical sense. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, these gaming podcasts feel more like an hour-long gaming video on the surface than a podcast. I think they're podcasts. Don't get me wrong. I'm basically just talking about topics, but instead of me being on camera, it's gameplay. I'm currently actively playing right now. But some people in our audience, if I could speak properly, some people in our audience, as well as just people who watch podcasts in general, don't really count an hour-long gameplay video with topics in the background as a podcast. And I get it. I don't personally agree. I think it's a little elitist, but I understand. So that's why we've never done a gaming podcast on the free series, the public series. We've only done it for the Patreon podcast series. And I wanted to break that mold for a couple of reasons. One, just to test it out. If you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. If not, we won't do it again. But I'll never know if I never upload a gaming podcast. And 2, I'm doing the podcast this way because I'm by myself this week. And while I could have recorded the podcast by myself in the studio, it just felt weird. So, I don't know. I wanted to do something that was more comfortable for me. I don't know. It's strange. I've been doing Twitch for at least 4 years consistently now. And I've been doing YouTube for like 7. And yet I'm still not like super comfortable on camera. You think I would be. And it's not a confidence thing. I'm fairly confident in myself and the way I look, the way I act. It's just a discomfort thing. I think it's rooted in anxiety. But yeah, I felt way more comfortable and way more excited to record this podcast in Mario Kart than to record my face by myself. I don't know. That's what I did for the first episode. Episode 1 of our podcast. And I'm talking the free episode, not talking about Patreon. The first episode of this podcast series on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere you can, find it for free, was just me. That first episode I was by myself. Which, looking back, is really dumb. Because your first episode it's kind of a landmark episode in some ways, and it's supposed to symbolize what the podcast is going to look like moving forward, what people can expect from your podcast. And given this is a podcast with 2 people, doing episode 1 with 1 person, just by myself, was setting up incorrect expectations, I guess. I didn't want it to be that way. We didn't want it to be that way. Zach just, wasn't available for that first episode, sadly. So, yeah, it is kind of strange looking back that the first episode was just me, myself, and I. But, what can you do about it? Nothing you can do about it. I am excited to finally do another episode alone again, though. Episode 1, I was alone, and we've never done a solo episode since then. I've never done another solo episode until now, and Zach has never done a solo episode. So, this is the second time we're doing this, and I don't know, it's always exciting to do something different, to mix it up. That's why we've uploaded this podcast in a variety of settings and locations. We've done dash cam podcasts where the dash cam was facing us. We've done dash cam podcasts where the dash cam was facing the road. We're now doing a podcast in a video game. We've done podcasts in the studio. We've done podcasts on the couch. We've done a ton of different settings, and I like that. It obviously can have a negative effect, again, due to inconsistency. People love consistency, both in podcasts and just in any series online, and any YouTube or, even Netflix series. I feel like people appreciate consistency. I know I do. So I understand while people enjoy and appreciate consistency, I have more fun doing this podcast in a variety of settings. One of my favorite podcasts ever, which sadly is not running anymore, was the Cow Chop podcast. They called it CCTV. If you don't know, Cow Chop was a YouTube group that I really don't even know how to describe them. Like, there isn't a one-word description of Cow Chop and the type of videos they made, the type of YouTube group that they were. I guess the closest description I can make is crazy, but even that doesn't fully encompass what Cow Chop was. However, their podcast was in a different setting every single episode. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't remember because they haven't been uploading to YouTube in forever and therefore haven't been doing their podcast in forever. And my memory is bad, add that on. But I'm pretty sure Cow Chop never did their podcast in the same location. They never did a repeat location, never filmed it in the same location twice. And I thought that was so cool. And they had some really interesting locations. You know, one episode they'd be by a pool, the next episode they'd be on the roof of a building. It was just neat. And while I don't have the funds, the resources, or the time to do that with my podcast, and neither does Zach, my co-host, we, at the same time, don't want to film in the same location every single episode. Because again, while people would probably appreciate that consistency, we just get bored of it, which is why we like to mix it up and sometimes do a podcast in the car, or sometimes, do a podcast on the couch when our studio is currently being repaired. It's more fun that way. And I similarly to my question earlier of whether or not you guys like these gaming podcasts, let me know whether or not you enjoy the podcast being in different locations sometimes, or if you would just want consistency. I have a feeling the answer is going to be consistency, and if so, we will have more consistency. I personally have more fun mixing it up. Anyways, we have a lot of introduction stuff to get into. I mean, technically everything I've talked about so far could count as introduction topics, but we have even more, because this episode is being recorded before episode 24, but it's titled episode 25. And you might be asking why. Well, I technically could have uploaded this episode last week, and I didn't. And that's because, if you don't know, we eat hot sauce at the end of every episode that ends in a 4. A simple way of explaining that is in episode 4 we ate hot sauce, in episode 14 we ate hot sauce, and in episode 24 we're going to eat hot sauce. And I didn't want to upload this before episode 24, because then this would be episode 24, and I'm not eating hot sauce at the end of this episode, obviously. My face cam isn't even on. So, yeah, while I'm delaying this episode just so it can be number 25, and that way we can make the hot sauce episode 24, there are some positives and some negatives to that. The cons to waiting to upload this episode is there isn't going to be an episode last week. So if you're watching this, pretty much the day it comes out, or at least a couple days after it comes out, you know that there wasn't an episode last week. This could have been last week's episode, but again, I didn't upload it because I didn't want it to be 24. So instead of screwing up the order of our episodes, instead of screwing up the lore, if you want to call it that, we decided not to upload this last week. Instead, this is getting uploaded next week, a week after I'm recording it, and we're uploading 2 episodes. Which, it sucks that we're missing a week, but one of the positives of it, one of the cool things, I think, about it, is we've never uploaded 2 episodes in a week. Oh, I just missed that jump. But yeah, we've never uploaded 2 episodes in a week before, so this will be the first time we're doing that. Episode 24 is going up this week, and then an hour after episode 24 goes live, this episode is going live. And I don't know. I think that's neat. It's something I don't really want to do in the future. I would much rather upload 1 episode a week than skip a week and upload 2 the next. Obviously, I'd rather just do once a week. But it's always fun to test things out. I mean, I feel like that's what I've been saying this entire episode. On the topic of why this episode is gaming related, and why this episode is being recorded within a video game, it's just, my answer is I wanted to test out new content. The answer of, why we're mixing up settings and why we're mixing up who's hosting what episodes. It's just testing out new content. There is a deeper reason as to why I'm solo hosting this. That's the next topic. I'll get into it. But just to finish this topic, we're uploading 2 episodes this week to make up for the fact that there was no episodes last week. I could have uploaded this last week. I apologize that I didn't, if you would have preferred it that way. But if I uploaded this last week, it would screw up the number and the order of these episodes. It would screw up our, I guess, storyline, as we like to eat hot sauce in every episode that ends with a 4, and I'm not doing that this episode. So yeah, 2 episodes this week to make up for the lack of an episode last week. Anyways, the reason I am by myself this episode, the reason Zach is not here and I'm all alone, is because, and we're talking about it in episode 24, so you've probably already heard about it, but Zach actually got fired, and therefore he cannot be here right now. He's staying at his parents' to try and, I guess, find another job, or at least have somewhere to stay while he's figuring out his life. It really sucks for him. I feel real bad if you haven't done so already after watching episode 24 when we talk about it, or when we're going to talk about it. I haven't recorded episode 24 yet, so I shouldn't lie to you and use the wrong verb tense. When we record episode 24, we're going to talk about it. And if you haven't already sent him love after watching that episode and after learning about it then, please go send him love now. You probably already have heard about it and commented down below. But if not, I ask that you send some love Zach's way, because I feel real bad for him. It came at the worst time too, because he just got a new car. So he really needs a job to make those monthly payments for his new car. And he just lost his job. So it's a shame. It's just a bad situation, and I feel really bad for him. So send him some love, support my boy, and yeah, that's why I'm recording this episode by myself, because I'm currently alone at the apartment. There's just a lot of weird circumstances going into these recent episodes of the podcast. A lot of unexpected and disappointing circumstances, like Zach losing his job and the episode numbers getting mixed up, and me kind of being alone and not really knowing what to do, has led to why we're doing 2 episodes in one week. Why, Zach isn't here for this episode. Why I'm doing this episode of Mario Kart. But I'm trying to make the best of it, which is why I'm positive, if you can tell. I'm trying to stay very, very optimistic. And honestly, I'm having a good time. Rather than letting all of these things happening in my life and all the things happening in Zach's life become a negative and hold us down, we're trying to make the best of it. We could have easily just skipped doing the podcast for a couple weeks because of all the negative things going on. But instead, we're trying to make the best of it. I'm trying to have a way more positive attitude moving forward. I feel like, one, I was way too negative in the past. For anyone who's watched my streams for years now, or watched my YouTube videos for years now, you know that, I would get very negative sometimes. I would rage a lot. I used to be somewhat toxic. Not toxic in the sense that, I was a bad person, or, I was super duper mean, but toxic in that, I just wouldn't look on the bright side. I'd rage and not try to improve said rage. I'd almost thrive in that anger. I feel like I'm explaining this poorly, but that's fine. It's whatever. I was just a very negative and angry streamer, and I've done a really good job of improving that over the years, because it's something I didn't like about myself. My viewers on Twitch thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong. And that's kind of why I continued to do it for so long, because my viewers on Twitch enjoyed the rage. They thought it was funny. And I almost became a rage streamer for a couple years there. But I didn't like that about myself, and it was something I wanted to change about myself. So have slowly, over the last year or two, started to rage less and try to cool my mind more, and just overall become a more positive person. And I really appreciate that change in my life. I think it's made me a better person, just overall, as well as a better streamer and content creator. And that's the mindset I'm trying to have these last couple weeks, as I've been struggling with school and money, and now Zach's struggling with money as well, as he lost his job. Like, I'm trying to stay positive, and while I could have just, gotten negative and upset and blamed everyone or everything but myself, I'm trying not to do that. And Zach's the same way. Zach's a super positive person as well. Zach's funny. His personality is real funny because on camera, he comes across as the more negative person of the two of us. But in person, he's definitely the more positive and, like, I would say, less emotionally driven person. Like, even though I've improved myself and I don't rage as much, I still sometimes rage. And when I do rage, it's hard for me to come out of that mindset. It's hard for me to, cool my head off again. But Zach is the opposite. Like, he'll rage, and then, like, 2 seconds later, he'll be fine. And I just can't do that. So even though on camera, Zach seems like the more negative person, I would argue he's the overall more positive person, because he can bounce back from negative things way easier than me. So, even though I feel bad for him, and it is just such a shitty situation that he doesn't have a job right now, and he lost his job, I know for a fact he's going to bounce back, because he always does. So, how did I even get on this topic? Oh, yeah. I was saying how I like to be more positive now, and I've been working just on myself. That sounds so, like, cringy and Tumblr-esque. Like, I've been working on myself lately. I've been dating myself. And while that's cringy as hell, it's kind of true. I have just been slowly improving myself, which is why normally when, or I shouldn't say normally, in the past, when something negative would be going on in my life, I wouldn't make content, I wouldn't stream, and therefore I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. But I'm trying to stay optimistic, and I'm just trying to roll with the punches. It's that mindset of, like, because I'm at a bad place in life right now, I could not do the podcast, and I could not stream, and just sit and, like, wallow in pity. But instead, I'm gonna do the podcast, I'm gonna stream, I'm gonna upload to YouTube, and I'm also gonna try to improve where I'm in life. Like, I'm not gonna just sit and wallow. Obviously, improving my financial situation is way more important than streaming and doing the podcast, which is why I've been streaming a lot less lately. I think I only streamed 2 times last week, which is way just unusual for me. That is crazy low for my usual. I usually stream 5 days a week, and streaming 2 days last week was a bummer, but like I said, I had to focus on school and money. Those are obviously way more important than streaming. And while I was focusing on school and money, I still found the time to stream 2 times last week, which is awesome. Like, I should be positive about that I even found time to stream while also focusing on my own life. So, yeah, that's the mindset, I feel like. That's the big shift I've had in my life, where instead of wallowing in pity, I actually try to get stuff done nowadays. Like, in the past, I wouldn't have streamed, I wouldn't have recorded the podcast, and I might have been, like, too upset to even focus on fixing my school situation and my money situation and, like, catching up on homework assignments, etc. I would have been too, like, upset and just overall, like, sad to do it. And now I'm actually catching up on schoolwork and making time for content. It's great. I feel like I've talked about this topic for too long. Maybe not. Maybe people are actually interested in my psyche, but I don't know. I don't think I'm that cool, so I'll stop talking about myself. Anyways, yeah, we talked a little bit about why I'm doing this podcast alone, why this podcast is gaming related, and why this podcast is a week late. But we haven't talked a lot about where this podcast is going in the future and like why we've made some of the changes we've made. And honestly, when I think about where this podcast is going in the future, my mind is split. I have a lot of positive thoughts and some negative. I'll get into the negative first so we can end on a positive. But my negative thoughts are simply like the podcast hasn't grown at all. We're still a very small podcast, and that's kind of a bummer. But the positive is I don't really care about the numbers. I don't. And I'm always going to do this podcast regardless of how little support it gets or regardless of how much support it gets. Like, even if it gets a lot of support, obviously that would encourage me more, but I'm going to do it regardless, is what I'm trying to say. And I kind of talked about this last week. In episode 23 of the podcast, I said, even if no one's watching anymore, we'll still probably do like one episode a month. However, if a ton of people start watching, we'll do weekly episodes. Like, if the podcast pops off, we'll do weekly episodes to support, support the support we're getting. To give what we're getting in return. You got to give what you get in life. And that's why right now, even though our podcast isn't dead, it's also not popular. So that's why we're doing 3 episodes a month, to kind of meet somewhere in the middle. And I think that's the best way to do it. Like, I'm always going to want to do this podcast. I'm always going to, enjoy doing a podcast because it's a fun way to just speak freely, openly, and a way to speak uncut. A lot of YouTube videos are super, super edited down, and a lot of streams and Twitch, like just Twitch streamers in general, almost have a different on-camera personality than their real personality, and podcasts kind of break away some of those barriers, and I really love that about podcasts. So I'm always gonna do a podcast. I'm always gonna want to do a podcast. It's just a matter of how much support I get determines how much content I put out. It's the same mindset as like why really popular YouTubers are able to do like 2 videos a day. It's because, they got the money to do it. But when you're starting out, it's kind of hard to do 2 videos a day that are good content, like entertaining content, and go out and have a job somewhere else where you are actually making money, because you're not going to make money starting out on YouTube. And yeah, that's just kind of my mindset. Like, right now, with the support we're getting, which isn't bad. I mean, we're a new podcast. I never expected this podcast to blow up. I did not expect this podcast to become popular by any means. So I'm happy that we're at least getting some viewership and some people are watching this. And therefore, I'm happy with the 3 episode a week schedule. Or 3 episodes a week? Jesus Christ. For me to want to do 3 episodes a week, we'd have to be one of the most popular podcasts in the world. We'd have to be like Joe Rogan levels. Because he's one of the only people I can think of that's doing 3 episodes a week. That's because he can, he can justify it. It's probably his biggest source of income right now. I don't know. I know the MMA stuff is probably paying a lot as well. But you gotta imagine his podcast is the biggest source of income, right? I mean, come on. He's the most popular podcast in the world right now. Surely. I don't know. I'm getting off topic. But, yeah. My overall point, and I kind of said it in episode 23, I just wanted to clarify it and build on this topic a little bit more this week. I wanted to add some flavor to the topic. That sounds weird. Is right now, 3 episodes a month is a good schedule for our level of support. If we get a ton of more support, we can do weekly episodes, if not more. And if, our support dies and we have 0 viewers, I'll still probably do 1 episode a month just for fun. Just for me, basically, at that point. But I do appreciate the support we are getting. You gotta start somewhere. I think that's another shift in my mentality lately. Another shift in my psyche the last couple of years is before back when I was still a teenager, I cared way too much about numbers, and I would let like viewership determine my mental state almost. So, when I was starting out on YouTube and a video wouldn't get a lot of views, I would get really bummed out about it. Or like when I was starting out on Twitch, and I would stream for like an hour and no one would show up, I would just end the stream because I'm like, well, no one's showing up anyways. And now that I'm in my 20s, I've shifted that mentality heavily, where I just appreciate any support I get at all. Like, I think it's the shift of I deserve viewership to I'm just thankful I have any viewership. And you see that a lot on Twitch, and you see that dichotomy a lot on Twitch. I feel like it's almost monthly now. A streamer gets canceled and they lose all their support because they get exposed for being ungrateful, or like they're ranting about not getting enough subs or donations. And that's such a poor mentality. And I say that as someone who used to care a lot about numbers. But like it's such a poor mentality to complain and like harass your viewers for not donating to you enough. Meanwhile, there are a lot of Twitch streamers who blow up on the platform, who get a lot of support because a viral clip of them gets popular, of getting like a $5 donation and acting like it's a $10,000 donation. And I'm trying to adopt that mentality more, because I used to be the mentality of like, I deserve viewership. I deserve, people watching my streams and watching my YouTube videos. I deserve subscribers on my YouTube account, or I deserve followers on my Twitch account, because I wasn't even affiliated back then. I couldn't get subscribers on Twitch. I probably wasn't affiliated because I wasn't the best streamer. Didn't have the best stream personality. But now I've shifted my personality a lot more to like, even if a stream gets one viewer, I'm so thankful for that one viewer, because at least it's better than zero. Because 0 viewers on Twitch, it might be one of the most difficult things to deal with mentally. At least for me. And I know for a lot of my friends on Twitch, when I was starting out, when a lot of my friends were starting out, when you get 0 viewers on Twitch, it hurts. Because it feels like a waste of time. And you feel like this hobby that you're putting time and effort into is pointless. It feels real pointless. So breaking through that glass ceiling of 0 viewers is super, super tough, but super rewarding. Like, my streams nowadays average between like 3 and 8 viewers, which isn't great. Like, not enough to make it a job, but it's good for my hobby of Twitch. And maybe it'll improve one day and I can make a job out of Twitch. That would be my dream. I've said that 1,000 times on the podcast. I'll say it again. My dream job would be streaming and doing Twitch. But I digress. I'm just thankful that at least I have 3 to 8 viewers in every stream. That means the world to me. Because I remember back in like 2016 streaming for 3, 4, 5 hours, having no one show up, and just being like, all right, well, I guess I'm a loser. And that's a super negative mentality. You shouldn't feel that way. I was wrong for feeling that way. If you're someone trying to start out on Twitch and no one shows up to your streams, it's not your fault most of the time. It's just, that's how Twitch is. That's how streaming goes. It's definitely an exponential growth, and because it's exponential, you're gonna stay at 0 viewers for a while unless you get lucky. But again, my mental state and my personality was way worse back then, so I was a way more negative person. Oh, I don't know how I'm alive. I don't know how I didn't fall off the map. Anyways, I just remember back in 2016 having 0 viewers, and that was just tough. It was tough to stay positive for 5 hours when no one would show up to your stream. And I'm very thankful now that I don't really have those streams anymore. Occasionally, like once every 2 months, I'll maybe have a stream with 0 viewers. But even then, it's not realistic, I guess, because oftentimes those streams I'm playing with a viewer who, if I wasn't playing a video game with them, would probably be watching. So I still, on a rare occasion, get zero viewer streams where there's no chat activity. But I'm just super thankful that I have some people that are showing up actively in my streams. That is crazy to me, by the way. Like, I'm a small Twitch streamer. I am not a popular content creator on any of the platforms. I make content, those platforms being YouTube, Twitch, Patreon. If you even want to consider Twitter a content creation platform. Not popular on Twitter. I don't consider it one, but, if we are considering platforms like that, not popular on Twitter, Instagram, etc. Yet, the fact that I have people who will show up to almost every live stream for me feels really rewarding. And, I'm super thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't know. It's just really cool that people want to watch my streams, and that inherently makes me want to stream more and want to make more content. So it's awesome. I'm still a small streamer, and I still have a ways to go if I ever want to make Twitch a part-time job, let alone a full-time job. But where I'm at right now is very rewarding, regardless of, how small my follower count may be. Anyways, I said I wasn't going to talk about me as much, and then 5 minutes later went back to a topic that was about me. I don't know. Maybe people want to, maybe people want to hear about me. I've always kind of been unsure about that because this podcast is so vague. Like, it's a gaming podcast and a storytime podcast, but we also sometimes talk about ourselves. So I guess it's the wrong mentality almost of thinking that people only want to hear about gaming and stories, funny stories that have happened in my life. But who knows? Who knows, man? I'd like to think that people come to these podcasts for me and for Zach and our personalities. But I've learned that the hard way on YouTube before, where back when I used to be getting tens of thousands of views for playing Minnow Monsters, I thought people liked me. And then when I stopped playing the game, everyone stopped watching. And I learned real quick, people are only watching these videos, and I was only getting tens of thousands of views because they wanted to watch the game, and they didn't want to watch me. And realizing that has made me put a bigger emphasis on my personality as a content creator rather than the gameplay that I'm providing, because that's just smarter. I don't want that to ever happen again. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. I don't want to ever get popular for a game instead of getting popular for my personality, because it's just too one-dimensional. If I do get popular for a game again in the future, and I start getting tens of thousands of views again for one particular game, I have to keep playing that game, and only that game, and playing it over and over and over again, while also trying to keep the content fresh, new, and entertaining. And that's tough. And I don't want to do that again. I don't want to play the same game over and over and over again. And then it'll probably just have the same outcome as last time. For those of you who don't know, last time I got popular on YouTube, I eventually stopped making content of the game that I got popular for, because I, 1, beat the game, and 2, just kind of ran out of things to do in the game. So I stopped making content of Minnow Monsters, the game that made me popular. And then, like I said, all of my views went away and people stopped watching. And I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to get popular for one game. I want to get viewership for me. I want viewers that are coming to the video mostly for me, and also because it's, a game they can enjoy. Obviously, the game is important as well, but I want my personality to shine through way more than the gameplay. And that's something I've tried to do. Something I've tried to adjust my content for accordingly. It's tough. It's way more tough to do that, though, I will admit. And it's a struggle, honestly. It's way easier to get popular for one game, especially on YouTube, because the YouTube algorithm is basically built to make content of the same game over and over and over again. Like, you're way easier. It's way easier to grow on YouTube if you make content about the same game and you only make content about one game than if you make content about a ton of different games. So while it's easier to get popular for one game or for one type of content, it's harder to, for me, hold on to that popularity and keep it interesting. I mean, hey, some people can do it, don't get me wrong. There are Fortnite YouTubers, and back in the day there were Minecraft YouTubers who play the game every day and don't complain about it, make entertaining content out of it. But I just can't do that, man. Even if it was my favorite game of all time, like Pokemon, I can't make content just about Pokemon. I play a ton of different games. I own a ton of different games. Why would I only stream and make YouTube videos about one game? It feels fake. So I don't want to do that. Even though that is the easier route to gaining viewership on Twitch and YouTube. Meanwhile, getting viewership for your personality is way more difficult on Twitch and YouTube because there's a lot of good personalities out there. There's a lot of funny, entertaining streamers and a lot of funny, entertaining YouTubers, and only so many viewers to go around. Like, there's more, I would argue, I think this is an obvious statement, so like me arguing this doesn't really mean much. But I would argue that there are more YouTubers and Twitch streamers who deserve to get big than viewers that can watch all of them. Like, there's only so many viewers. And there's only so many people that can get popular because there's only so many viewers. So, it's a bummer. It is luck-based. Any Twitch streamer that is popular and any YouTuber that is popular will tell you that like Twitch and YouTube is very luck-based, which is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, it's also kind of cool because anyone who makes good content has a chance of getting popular and has a chance of growing. So, while it's the way more difficult route, I have tried to make my content centered around me instead of the game. Because I don't want a repeat of what happened in like 2015, 2016 when, I got popular for one game. And that was it. And then when I stopped uploading YouTube videos of that game, everything fell apart. It's why my channel looks so dead today. I feel like I have to explain that to everyone now. Like, any new person or like anytime I show a new friend my YouTube channel, the first thing they notice is like, oh, you have 2,000 subscribers, but you only get like 30 views on your videos. It's like, yeah, all of those subscribers have stopped watching because they subscribed for one game. They wanted to watch one game, and that was it. And it sucks. I've started about... sorry, I just jumbled up my words there. I've thought about starting a new YouTube channel several times. I've considered it. And like starting from fresh. But I just can't let go of this YouTube channel, man. I can't let go of it because it's been my passion project for like 7 years. I don't know. I put so much work into it for 7 years that like it feels wrong starting fresh. Obviously, I've made some new, fresh YouTube channels in other categories of content. I, have a more vlog and personal channel, and then I made an entire channel dedicated to roller coasters and amusement parks because I love roller coasters and amusement parks. It's like I have those two fresh channels. But as far as gaming is concerned, I can't make a new gaming channel. I can't let go of my current main channel, even though it's kind of dead. It's the same mindset I have about this podcast. Like, even if no one watches this podcast in the future, I'll still probably make episodes like once a month. Even if Zach quits and it's just me, I'll still probably make episodes once a month. Because I just like this podcast. It has emotional attachment to me. And it's the same way with my YouTube channel. Like, even though my YouTube channel is pretty dead as far as like sub to viewership is concerned, don't be wrong, I still get views. I still have people that watch every video, which means a lot to me. I really, really appreciate that. Really, in the same regard that like I appreciate people watching every stream, I really appreciate the people who watch all my YouTube videos. But even if my YouTube channel dies off completely, like it's already kind of dead. If it goes full dead, like, you know, flatlines, I'll still upload just because I've been uploading for 7 years. That channel means too much to me to just let go. I don't know. Maybe when I'm like 50, I'll finally stop uploading, but for now, that means too much to me. My YouTube channel and my Twitch channel mean way too much to me. I fully admit, however, that if I were to start a new gaming channel, I probably would have a better chance of growing than on my current channel, just because of the YouTube algorithm. Straight up. The YouTube algorithm supports, like, how do I explain this? It supports growth on a smaller scale basis. So because I've been uploading for so many years without any growth, it's harder for me to grow than someone who starts fresh and has really good content. Like, I almost shot myself in the foot by starting this channel 7 years ago and making kind of mediocre content. Because now that mediocre content from 7 years ago is holding down my good content that I'm uploading nowadays. Because I like my content. I think it's good. So it's a bummer. Like, even though the easiest and simplest way to explain this is me, someone who's making good content right now, is way less likely to get popular based off the YouTube algorithm than someone who just started their channel like a month ago and is also making good content. And it's simply because I made mediocre content back when I was in high school, and it's kind of holding my channel down. A lot of big YouTubers have deleted their old content. I remember back in the day, SugarPine7 deleted a ton of their old content. Or I guess a ton of Steve's old content, because it was Steve's channel originally. Steven Suptic deleted a lot of his old content because it was holding him down, and the YouTube algorithm was penalizing him for making bad content back in the day. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. And I could either do one of two things. I could make a new channel, start fresh, or delete a ton of my old videos that are mediocre. And I have deleted some, but there are other older videos that I made back in high school that just mean too much to me. Like, they were videos I made with my family or with friends that just mean too much to me. So, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll cave and delete some of that old content just for the sake of the YouTube algorithm not absolutely boning me anymore. But for now, it's staying on my channel. For now. It's just a bummer. Literally, to make that hypothetical even more simpler and even more funny, I guarantee you, if I kept uploading on my channel and made a new channel and uploaded the same videos there, that new channel would get more popular than my channel that I have right now. Like, if I started re-uploading my good videos to a new channel, they'd probably get more popular than my channel right now. Just because I have those old videos holding me down. The YouTube algorithm really sucks. Alright? Let me rant for a minute, bro. I hate the YouTube algorithm. It is so punishing. And it is so rewarding for the dumbest things. Like, It rewards the dumbest things, like daily uploads. Meanwhile, I understand why daily uploads are a good thing in the YouTube algorithm, but like I said earlier, it's hard to make daily uploads that are entertaining if you're not a full-time YouTuber. Like if it's your job to do YouTube, then yeah, you can make entertaining videos daily. But if it's not your job and you're trying to start out, it's really hard to make entertaining videos daily. But the YouTube algorithm's like, too bad, do it anyways. It's just so dumb. And like the fact that you can't make content outside of your genre in YouTube is also really punishing. It's why I have to have 3 different channels for my 3 different passions. Like, I have a gaming channel for gaming. I have my personal vlog channel for that type of content, and I have a roller coaster channel. If I were to start uploading roller coaster videos on my gaming channel, not only would they do poorly, but it would also negatively affect my channel, my gaming channel as a whole. Like that roller coaster video would do really poorly, and it would just hurt my gaming channel for the future. It sucks. It's why I used to do vlogs on my gaming channel. I used to only have one channel, and it was my gaming channel, and I used to put vlogs up there. But once, the YouTube algorithm started to screw me over, and as the YouTube algorithm became more and more punishing over the years, I moved all of my vlogs to a second channel. It just sucks. I don't like that about YouTube. Like, you have to stay within one genre. The YouTube algorithm puts you in a box. Even somewhat in gaming, as I explained earlier. Like, even for gaming YouTubers, it's way easier to get popular for one game than playing a ton of different games like I do. It's like, even in the realm of gaming, not only if you're a gaming YouTuber do you have to only make gaming videos to try to, play the YouTube algorithm, to try to, sell yourself out to YouTube. It's even more beneficial for you to play just one game. And one game that's popular, obviously. You can't play like an old game that no one cares about anymore, like Final Fantasy IV. Don't be wrong, Final Fantasy games are popular. I'm just saying, if you make a YouTube channel and the only videos you're making are Final Fantasy IV, I doubt you're going to grow. But like if you make a YouTube channel about a game no one cares about, like Hello Kitty Racing, and that's the only videos you're making, obviously that's not going to get popular. But what I'm saying is, like, it's kind of sad when the current YouTube algorithm is set up in such a way where someone making okay Fortnite content daily is much more likely to grow than someone making good content of a variety of games. That sucks. That really sucks. Like, someone making trashy Fortnite top 10 videos is way more likely to grow than someone who's like playing Call of Duty one day and then Among Us the next day and then like Mario the next day. Like, that person's way less likely to grow on YouTube. It just sucks. I hate the YouTube algorithm. It makes sense from a business standpoint. Like, I can't be fully mad at YouTube because as a business, it makes sense. But on a, content creator standing, like on a content creator lens, it's the worst. And it kind of shows how little YouTube cares about their content creators and how much they care about, being a big business with a lot of money. It's a real bummer. YouTube is kind of the worst. I didn't know this episode was going to be me ranting about YouTube. That wasn't one of my planned topics for today. I didn't have that written down on my topics list, but it's something I'm very passionate about because it really pisses me off that the YouTube algorithm in a lot of ways supports mediocre content while at the same time not supporting good content. Like I said earlier, it's already very luck-based as to who can make a career on Twitch and YouTube. It's already very luck-based and takes a lot of luck to make a career on YouTube. And YouTube only makes that luck even more difficult with their trashy algorithm. Their trashy algorithm that just supports late-night hosts and Fortnite YouTubers. And don't get me wrong, there are some good Fortnite YouTubers, but there's a lot of bad ones. A lot of bad Fortnite YouTubers that are making bank on YouTube. It's a shame. Well, I mean, it's not a shame. I don't want to put anyone down per se. Like, get your bag. Make your money. I support them making money. But, like, if a trashy Fortnite YouTuber can make a ton of money on YouTube, can I get a little bit of that? Yeah, it's that mentality. Again, that's not the healthiest mentality. It's almost the mentality of I deserve that money, which I said before I said earlier in this podcast. I'm trying to get away from that mentality, but there's still little traces of that negativity and that toxicity. All right. While I've grown as a person, I'm not perfect yet. Okay, I still want a little bit of that Fortnite money. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks. YouTube to me has only gotten worse over the years for individual content creators and for people like who are super creative. And instead YouTube has gotten way more just corporate over the years. And it sucks. So that's why Twitch has become my new home, my new passion project. Like, YouTube was my passion project when I started 7 years ago. But the last 2-3 years, Twitch has become my new focus. And I've had a couple of my YouTube viewers who don't watch my Twitch streams like ask me, why are you not uploading to YouTube as much anymore? And I feel bad, but I'm straight up with them. And I explain, like, it's because YouTube is not as fun to do anymore. It's way more difficult to do. And it's just gone downhill. Like, YouTube as a platform's gone downhill. Meanwhile, Twitch, while it also is not perfect, Twitch is definitely not perfect, it's way more fun for me right now. And I feel like I have more of a chance of growing on Twitch than I do on YouTube. I feel like I have a bigger chance of making Twitch a possible dream job than making YouTube a possible dream job. Which is a bummer, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. It sucks too, because I'll sometimes upload a YouTube video that I think is going to do really well. Like, I think to myself, this is the video that might finally rake in new subscribers and might finally push my viewership from the double digits to like the triple digits. Again, I'm not asking for much, but I'm like, I upload a video that I think is really good, and I think to myself, this video will finally, like, you know, further me up the ladder. Like I said, I'll no longer be getting double digits on my views or on my videos. I'll be getting like triple digit views on my videos, and it never happens, even on videos that I think are really good, and I think are like even somewhat good for the YouTube algorithm, and I still won't get any new support. And that's just kind of the shitty thing about the YouTube algorithm. Is very luck based, and it likes to kick you when you're down. Oh man, I don't know. I'm still gonna keep trying. Don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna keep uploading, like I said earlier in the podcast. It's become a struggle because I think my content is better than ever, yet my views are almost worse than ever. And I don't know what to do about it. I mean, obviously there are some solutions I mentioned prior, like starting a new channel, so I can start fresh, or deleting some of my old bad videos. But there's got to be another way, you know? Like, I don't want to delete all of my old videos. They mean too much to me. There's got to be another way. But at the same time, it feels like on YouTube there isn't another way. Well, I don't have much else to talk about. I apologize that this podcast ended in me just complaining about YouTube. But I feel like a lot of my complaints are valid, alright? That's all I'm saying. YouTube kinda sucks. It's kind of the worst. Everyone and their mother knows that, though. So I feel like most people can agree that YouTube is kind of the worst. But that wasn't a planned outro for this podcast, but that probably will be the final topic for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you haven't watched episode 24 for some reason, it went up an hour before this episode. However, if you did watch episode 24 and now you're watching this one, thank you. Let me know again how you feel about uploading podcast back to back, like twice in a week. It's not something we want to do in the future. However, if we do end up like missing a week where we're planning on uploading a podcast, I think uploading 2 podcasts the next week is a good like backup plan, a good plan B. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about these gaming podcasts and whether or not you like them. If not, I probably won't do them anymore on the free episodes of the podcast. But if you do like them, we can always do these again. We've been doing them on the Patreon a lot because people on the Patreon are a very low number of Patreon supporters do actually enjoy the gaming podcast. That's why we wanted to bring them to the free episodes as well. But let me know about that. And yeah, like I said earlier in the episode, send some love to your boy Zach. Follow him on his social medias and watch his live streams because I feel bad for the man. Hopefully he finds a new job soon. I'm supporting him. All right, I got his back, and yeah, send the man some love. All right, he deserves it right now. Anyways, that's all. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Like I said, I'm trying to really better myself as a person and just I want to be a positive influence in the world. I want to help people, not hurt them. And I hope you all can do the same. So thank you for watching. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll see you all next week. Peace.